A Jew must believe in one God and is not permitted to have an idol, is not permitted to do all sorts of other things. Which means if the non-Jew believes in one God, and in the form that Christianity takes, it's quite possible that for the non-Jew, this is a legitimate experience. Because for them, if they've not been commanded not to do certain things, so for them it's not a false, it's not what's we call avodah zarah. Which therefore, for the Jew, this avenue is it's one which cannot be explored. For the non-Jew, could be explored. Now, whether the non-Jew could experience something positive from it, perhaps they could. But let me be a little clearer. And the implications of what I'm saying right now may be quite frightening. Maimonides uses in his Guide for the Perplexed the following analogy. He says, think of somebody traveling along the road to see the king, to see the palace. Some people will be walking in the right direction. Some people traveling to see the palace will be going in the wrong direction. The palace is east, they're walking north, others are walking west, and others are walking south. All those walking the same direction have a chance of saying it. Maimonides says that all monotheists are walking in the right direction. Now, whether you're actually permitted to enter into the palace, in his analogy, will depend to the extent that you understand the true religion. Which means, according to Maimonides, Christians and Muslims are all walking in the right direction. They'll all be able to get a glimpse of the palace. Which means they'll all be able to have real spiritual experiences, and they'll all be able to have fulfillment. On the other hand, he feels to get into the palace, to get into the inner chamber of the palace, certainly to get into where the throne of the king is, and if possible to get a glimpse of the king, that he feels can only be done via Judaism. But for a Jew to follow one of the practices of Christianity, for them, being that they have more commandments, they're doing something for them which is something which is spiritually damaging. The implication of this, of course, then is that the Jewish soul is affected differently than a non-Jewish soul is, which may sound quite surprising, but why should it sound surprising? If my non-Jewish neighbor eats a cheeseburger, that does not affect their soul at all. If a Jew eats a cheeseburger, it does affect their soul. So therefore, it's not just an issue of cheeseburgers, but perhaps it's also an issue of even relating to God, that they have different ways that their souls are affected by what they do. So, yeah.
What is the origin of a Jewish soul? Because Noah isn't Jewish, Abraham is the first Jewish person, so where does this soul originate?
Those who speak of souls speak about the origin of all souls existing within Adam. But I'm not going to get into the whole question of the development of souls right now. Yeah. Please.
If this is true, what you're saying, that we have different obligations, if you like.
That you knew before I started.
Yeah, true. But
you just didn't. Perhaps you didn't really think about it.
Okay. But what I'm trying to say is, what is the mission of the Jews then? If it's not necessary for the non-Jews to keep the same commandments as us.
Yeah. And by the way, Maimonides, who gives all this analogy, Maimonides continues and he says that a non-Jew can have a share in the world to come. I mean, according to the Maimonides, I can use the following analogy. I can say that, imagine two people employed by the same corporation. One person has hundreds of tasks they have to perform. The other has 7 tasks they have to perform. And they'll both get the same pension after they retire, and both get the same gold watch when they retire them, and they'll both end up with the same sort of lifestyle after retired. Again, from Maimonides' perspective, what I just now said is a true statement. But if you say, but what is the role of Jews? So I'll go back again. The Jews are supposed to be a kingdom of priests. Jews have taken upon themselves the responsibility to perfect the world. Abraham, once he reached out and looked at the world around him and said, I want to be kind like God, I want to emulate God, and we're going backwards somewhat now, he took upon himself this oath with God and took upon himself this relationship that all of his descendants will have the same responsibility. It means leading different types of lives, but it means more knowledge and it means more responsibility, just like I said at the very beginning. Greater reward if you follow, and greater punishment if you and greater reward and greater other side of the coin is that perhaps you're walking on a higher place, but if you fall, you'll be hurt much more. And you know what? Sometimes Judaism does feel like walking a tightrope. And it's not that easy to keep one's balance. And if you fall, then the implications could be quite severe. Anyway, as I said...
Can I ask one thing about...
Do I have a choice? Yeah, go ahead.
Who's a rabbi?
Yeah.
So can you explain why rabbis introduced Christianity?
Rabbis introduced Christianity? Somebody said this?
Yeah, I don't really understand.
Well, I don't know who said it, and I don't know what they... I don't know what they said. I don't know what they're talking about, so I can't comment. I don't know. I would not believe that a rabbi introduced Christianity. I think that the founder of Christianity was actually Paul, who lived long after Jesus, who then... And is that Abba Shaul? No, he wasn't a rabbi. Saul of Tarsus had nothing to do with Abba Shaul, who was an authority in the Talmud. I don't know who possibly would have made the connection between the two. And if somebody did, then I would argue pretty strenuously against them. Paul was somebody who most likely was not all that knowledgeable of Judaism, and I don't see how he was a rabbi. Actually, what Paul did is that he gave up on teaching Christianity to Jews, and he felt that Christianity would be better off offered to non-Jews. And Christianity at that point became the result of the unholy marriage of Judaism and paganism. And the result, the offspring, or the illegitimate offspring, is Christianity. Okay, so we'll stop. Go light the Hanukkah candles.
You have been listening to JHAH.com. For information about our online services, visit our website. To contact one of our representatives, write to JHAH@JHAH.com. Shalom from Jerusalem.